such a strange and amusing place. One day you buy him rocket ship underpants, and then the next they're in outer space. Mama, don't you know you keep the whole world turning round?
All right, see these wrinkles and these gray hairs?
Oh, I've gone completely gray. You can't tell. But this year has done me in.
We have 16-year-olds, and they're going to drive this summer. That's all we have to say.
It's killing me.
It's killing us.
me. Yeah.
So how has it been being, because in our area, you have to drive 45 hours before you can get your license.
And
so that means the parents are in the cars with, and so that means the parents are in the cars with their teens, teaching them how to drive.
Okay, can I just tell you, the one time when I took Sam on inauguration day to go get his driver's permit. That's the only time I've driven with him in the car. That was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I drove him to his school parking lot and had him just drive around the parking lot. I said, now imagine that this is a parking lot full of cars and kids. Show me how you're going to drive. He's cutting across, parking spaces and stuff. And like we come to a turn and he's like, drives straight through a stop sign. I'm like, that was a stop sign. And he's like, yeah, but there wasn't anybody there. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's the point. Do you want me to take you somewhere where there's going to be somebody there? You better stop. This is practice. He's like, Mom, stop yelling at me. You're stressing me out. You're stressing me out.
Well, what's so funny about Taylor is he's so worried about hitting the cars that are coming on this way that he's
so far over.
He's so far over
that you're like watching trees come at you in mailboxes.
I know.
Like,
there's like parked cars right there.
You're like pulling your mirror in and closing it. Yeah.
And then it's funny because you have to really learn how to make your decisions ahead of time.
Right.
What lane you're going to go into, where you're going to turn,
And so, the consequences of decisions for the future are not a teen's forte.
No. Absolutely not. So, when it comes that he's coming to this, stoplight, and he could be in this lane or this lane, he's straddling because he's not
sure.
figured out
You're
which
stopped
direction
at a stop sign and you can't do anything about it.
Right. And the car behind is honking because Taylor's going like this with the car. I'm like, oh man. Yeah, no, it's been really nerve-wracking. Really nerve-wracking. But it's interesting, when you're pregnant, call.
You just changed gears really fast.
But wait, it all ties together.
Okay.
I promise. When you're pregnant, the last 3 months in my vocabulary are called the miserable. That's the miserable phase. You get so tired of being pregnant and so miserable that delivery starts looking pretty good.
Right.
Okay. Well, we're in that phase now with driving them everywhere, being the taxi, and facing the fact that
you're faced with all these choices, right? Choice one, they get a ride with a friend of a kid that you're like, that kid can't be any better at driving than my kid, and I'm going to let him go off with that kid.
Exactly.
So then the next thing you do is you go, well, I'll drive him. But you need to do other things in your life besides be your personal driver, right?
Exactly.
And then the next choice is to get them to drive, which is like, really? I mean, insurance costs alone.
Oh, I think we just reshopped our insurance, and I said, and oh, by the way, we're going to have a teen driver as of probably
And they
August.
laughed at you, right?
And he said, oh, it'll double. Just plan on it doubling. I'm like, doubling?
So I told Sam that.
Yeah.
Because I said, Sam, maybe this summer you can work and you can, save some money and get a car. Like, maybe Daddy and I might be able to match you. And Kate's like, I'll help too, because I want you to drive me to stuff. And he's like, okay. And he's calculating it and stuff. And I was like, oh, and make sure you factor in insurance costs. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, good. He's getting an idea of the value of this and the cost, you know?
Yeah. So my hairdresser's thrilled that I have a teenager because...
You're gray. It's going to keep your hairdresser in good business.
Yes.
Mine too. Mine was thrilled. He was like, what is going on here? I'm like, it's called a teenager. Right. I mean, seriously. I
know. The other day I drove in and I said, there's a reason why parents of teenagers look awful most of the time.
They really do. It's worse than, it is. It's worse. I thought I looked pretty bad during pregnancy.
Right.
Nothing like this.
No.
My kids are like, you look really tired. Why do you got all this dark under I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I'm losing sleep. Anyway,
we'll get through it together.
we'll get through together. You let me know how it goes.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
just tell me. I'm not the only one.
Mama, don't you know you keep the whole world turning round?
Okay, driving. Teen drivers.
My stomach just flipped when you said that.
What?
Driving. Because it's a nervous thing.
It's an wow. You're really nervous about it.
Okay.
Okay.